I'm here today to talk about healing, and it can be taught, and it can be learned, and why it does not happen in so many cases. First of all, people don't understand the three-part man to the degree they really need to. The actual cognizant, factual difference that it's not the same as a cure when it comes to healing. A cure is for someone to relieve the symptom, to actually give some type of temporary or relief of any type, under any type of condition. But to heal means to restore to the original. Heal means that you're actually almost remanufactured, which is quite possible, as you're going to see by some of the things I'm going to go into. We are a three-part human being. We're a spirit first. Okay, that's the real human being. We are a physical body, okay, and we are a mental mind, okay. Now, this three-part person has to be divided up and be treated equally. Now, the first part of the spirit of a man is where the soul resides, or it's the real man. It's the true person, the forever person. A spirit is an actual electrical force field. A spirit is the animating force as determined by law and by man and by everyone, that a spirit is his animating force, and that's the electrical part of the man. It is the energy, the vibrational frequency. It also stores the emotions and many of the senses and feelings. Okay, now it does not go with the brain as people think. Now then there is the senses that are seeing, smelling, tasting, hearing, and feeling. But man has a sixth sense. It's called the supernatural sense, and that is the spirit of a man that tends to live on forever, or does in many beliefs. Some people tend not to believe it. Maybe it's because they're not going to. But the physical man will address that next. That's the body. That's the vehicle that the spirit resides in, or rides around in through this journey of life. The problem is not that life is rough. It's the condition of that vehicle or body that's traveling it. The body can become diseased, unrested, sick, diseased at the cellular level, unrest. This is where pain can be registered in the physical body while the spirit is within it. Okay, it can be maintained. The physical body can be kept up. There's no such thing as anti-aging. There's the non-wearing out. Okay, we're going to age. Time goes on. But if you want to look younger to an older age, you're going to maintain the vehicle. There are requirements that needs. Then there is the mind, the third part of the person, which is the liar justifier. When a person is born into the world and the sperm meets the egg, an electrical charge starts and growth starts to happen. As that spirit is there and that spirit of life is there, then the body starts to form, and then the mind forms last. It tends to be nothing more than a register or a recorder or an actual perceiver of what it feels, thinks, and perceives happens to it. Okay, they say that the mind is willing, but the body is weak. No, the mind is not willing. The mind wants things that are convenient, that are comfortable, and it should be guided by the spirit and the more right things, the more spiritual things. But the mind isn't. It's the liar justifier. So we have the three-part man, the spirit man, the physical man, and the mental man. Okay, now we also have to look at healing from another perspective. That healing means we're totally restored, we're rebuilt, we're remanufactured. Healing means we grow new tissues. Not relief, not a cure, but when we heal, we're regenerated to the original. Now, there are certain requirements that the physical body has. These physical requirements are things like minerals, protein, fats, vitamins, etc. Calories, okay? To keep the body working and get it going, this healing needs to have these things working within the body. Now, you have a new stomach lining every 4 days, a new layer of skin every 28 days, and every 16 months, every single cell in your body is replaced. So you have the potential and the ability to change what's happening with you to a very large degree, and it can happen quite quickly. So this is the thing we need to understand, that doctors do not deal with the three-part man, they deal with the physical. They don't restore anything, they don't use nutrition, they don't have you heal things. What they do is they do a procedure, they give you a chemical that's ionically incorrect, or they give you some type of other treatment that is usually through something that is not natural. So healing does not happen from doctors. You get a cure, okay? But we can heal totally and we can be replaced. So let's look at incurable and untreatable. That means that this is not necessarily true. There is no such thing as incurable if you can get back to the rebalancing of the body. There's nothing that is untreatable that can't be worked with if you regrow the tissues. But to just cut something off, burn it, or try to poison it is not the way the body operates from the metabolic level. So meds are wrong at the ionic state. There's nothing nurturing about them. And procedures cause more stress. They cause the body to use up more materials to try and get the body healed after surgery or something is done. So they're not even considering the spirit of a man, and this is why so many people die. Now the spirit, remember, is the electrical part of the body. It is the animating force. It's what causes things to work. Now the spirit resides in the blood. You can take everything out of a human being. Every type of organ can be replaced and used by something synthetic except one thing. The one thing that cannot be replaced in the body is blood. Because the life of the body, it says, is in the blood. They don't know what it is. They know it's the spirit. They know it's the electrical force field. They know that when that stops moving, you're dead. So that's the animating force. So that's the emotions are there, the electrical vibration, and so on. So let's say that you're having bad emotions. Well, that's a bad vibrational frequency. That's a misappropriation of electrical force and flow. Let's say that we have a house and the house has 5 rooms or 5 systems in your body, and each system needs 20 volts. And you give 5 volts to one area, but 25 or 30 in another area. This means you're out of balance, you're diseased, you're unrested. This means one area is going to get too much electricity and can possibly burn up. The other part is going to have not enough light or electricity, it's not going to get the circulation. This imbalance gets worse. So when we look at these individual things that come from emotions, we can stop the processes in the body and we can transfer by moods the types of flow that is in the body, from blood pressure and everything that can even be registered. So everyone I have dealt with over the years that has had a terminal disease or has had multiple terminal occurrences of different types of diseases has suffered from one thing. And this is the part that doctors don't deal with. It's the emotional part. It is the unforgiveness. I have found that people with terminal illnesses have unforgiveness, they have bitterness, they have anger, they have hate. Mostly it's some type of a resentment that is reoccurring, that is being held on to, if you will, blocking flow in the body. When this happens, we've got too much or too little energy in one area. We then tend to eat differently. We don't eat what we require. We eat what is comfortable. We eat what is convenient. So the spirit is the part that happens to us during creation, and this electrical force is very important. Now let's say you believe in creation or you believe in evolution. If you believe in evolution, let's say that that's a long, slow process at a snail's speed. So evolution is creation at snail speed, but creation is evolution at light speed. So they can both work. Either one, you still have to have for the physical body the requirements that are needed. There'll be no regeneration, no recreation, no restoration of any type. If you want restoration and all these things to happen, you must supply the needed materials, but then you must also have the positive flow that's going to give things that are needed for that. Now, the number one thing that stops this healing, and that doctors do not deal with, not completely and correctly with the physical, but they never deal with the spiritual. So that number one item is in Mark chapter 11 of the Christian and Judaic Bible, and it talks about forgiveness. Now, all of the clients that you've seen me work with on my videos, all of them will tell you that we've been going through these questions when there's terminal illness. We have to know about the healing. We have to get to the unforgiveness. This is the part that causes something to return because we haven't let go. It cannot let go. Also, that because we are a spirit, there are good spirits and bad spirits. And even in the Christian Bible, it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and spiritual wickedness in high places." So this adds to that spiritual factor. Until medicine addresses the spirit, man will never see healing coming out of the medical field. So there's always, the successes are definitely based on this number one key. It is about forgiveness. It's about understanding how to do that forgiveness. This is a teaching also that can be learned and can be taught. And the person who's going to be the healer, the person who wants to get into the healing field must first realize one very important thing. You must be very selfless with your time, selfless with your finances, and selfless in wanting to know everything that you can, even if you had to give it away. If you're not ready to give it away and you're not ready to do it just for fun and for giggles, you're not going to be taught. Why should God treat anybody or teach anyone who is not going to use it for the greater glory, for what he's put us here for? So realize that healing comes and must be reached through unforgiveness, through the physical needs and things that are met through diet and through circulatory work and so on, and that the spirit of the man is the most important part. So this is how spirit can be taught, why healing works, and how it can be worked with by anyone if they have their heart in the right place. Thank you.